Good morning and welcome to C 2022. It's so nice to see everyone here in person. It's amazing to kind of feel the energy and the vibe with everyone in a physical space. We haven't had a chance to do that in quite some time. My name is Kash Mia. I'm the VP of Marketing at CrowdRiff. Before I get started, I wanted to just acknowledge that we are so grateful to be gathering today in person on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississauga of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and the land that is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. Toronto is CrowdRiff's hometown, and there are many rich cultural histories in our community. To honor that diversity that was woven through the fabric of the city, we opened this morning with the Hong Luk Kung Fu Club. They have been offering Kung Fu, martial arts, lion dance training, and lion dance services to the Toronto area for over 61 years. The lion dance performance you saw will bring good luck and prosperity to you and your business. The lions and the music will ward off evil and bad luck. And the eating of the greens represents the lion taking the wealth and prosperity and sharing with everyone. So please join me in thanking the dancers for the welcome this morning. Now, you might have expected to see Dan, our co-founder and CEO, up here. Instead, you get me. As many of you know, it's our first return to in-person C. And this year, we're welcoming many of you virtually. You know, the hybrid thing. In the same spirit, Dan actually wants to join us and is going to join us virtually and actually has a message to share with everyone here, including why he's not able to join in person.
Hello, and welcome to all of our partners, our friends, and fellow travelers. I do wish I could be there with you today in person, but I'm currently out for a walk with our brand new baby boy, Caden, who just turned 1 month old. So I'm spending time with family, and I'm joining you remotely today. As I reflected on the past year, one particular trip came to mind. It was a 10-day road trip that I did in California, and I love traveling with friends and family, but this trip I did alone. And looking back, it was a very healing experience that reconnected me with the power of travel, and one that I now refer to as my post-pandemic comeback trip. And as a solo traveler, I moved slower. I embraced more moments and my surroundings as well. And I also found that conversations with locals came more naturally. And I could tell you about San Francisco, Lake Tahoe, or the state parks I visited along the way. But my strongest memory was that of visiting Chester, a small town of 2,000 people on the north end of Lake Almoner. And how did I find myself in Chester? Well, it all started with the search for a great sandwich. See, I'm traveling west along Highway 36, and I look ahead on the map and I see Farmstead Kitchen and Market, a place in Chester that was full of photos of the most delicious sandwiches. And on my way into Chester, I see this sign. The sign says, "Our tap water is fresh. Please don't buy plastic bottles." And I thought, that's a rather peculiar sign, but I did appreciate the message of reducing single-use plastics. And of course, my stomach was still rumbling, so the sandwich was really my main focus. As I walked up to the door of that restaurant, I saw it closed, joining family for a celebration of life. I was disappointed for a moment, but I realized this must be a pretty special town with family-run businesses and a community that supports and really cares for each other. I turned around to find this charming cafe in a converted building, complete with this homemade drive-through window as well. And while sipping on my cappuccino, a man walked in and started chatting with the owner. See, this man had lived on the second floor of this cafe building 50 years ago, and he'd come by to reflect and reminisce on those memories. The caffeine gave me just enough energy to continue my search for my sandwich, which brings me right down Main Street to a shop called Cravings. So I park and I run up to the door, grateful to see that the sign says open. And boy, this menu was irresistible. Everything made from scratch. And so after I asked someone for a recommendation, I ordered my chicken sandwich and also the corned beef hash for down the road. And now I'm really embarrassed to tell you this, but I finished my order with saying 1 bottle of water, please. And I know, it's terrible. Clearly, even I have behaviors that are different when I travel than when I'm at home, and things I need to work on. Well, the woman behind the counter, she looked at me kindly and said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "No." And she went on to explain that we are standing on one of the largest freshwater aquifers in California, and our water is delicious, not to mention free. So, I got a tall glass of water, several actually, and I continued to browse the shop full of amazing books and games and cards. When picking up the food, I decided to ask about the burnt and charred trees that I saw on my way into town. And she went on to tell me this amazing story of courage. You see, 6 months earlier, there was a fire headed straight for the town and everybody was evacuated. But some brave people stayed behind, and they attempted to fight back the fire. And despite all odds, they were successful at stopping the fire before it burned the town. And you know, I could feel the gratitude and the immense respect in her tone of voice when she was telling that story. You know, here's the thing. I was only in Chester for a few short hours, and I learned that Chester is a community of multi-generational stories, a place of family-run businesses and homemade recipes, a place that is proud of their water, and even more proud of the brave folks in their town who defended it from a forest fire. And of course, this sign is a real-life example of a community sharing what they value with a visitor while encouraging the visitor to be respectful and to help protect it. People are at the heart of a destination, and it's their values and stories that connect deeply and uniquely with travelers, as they did with me. So as destinations, we tap into our marketing superpowers, and we share these stories with authenticity and with purpose. It's my privilege to welcome you to SEA, and we are honored to have an incredible lineup of speakers from around the world. I hope you have a great first day, and I look forward to seeing everybody again soon.